Have you ever just stopped and wondered what the internet actually is? I mean, we use it all day, every day, but how does it really work? Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down, and it all boils down to one huge question. So, who is in charge? When you type in a web address and smack that enter key, who's pulling all the strings behind the curtain? Let's look at some of the usual suspects.
Your first thought might be your internet provider, right? I mean, they're the ones you pay every month. They give you the on-ramp to the web, so they've got to be in control. Well, not really. Sure, they have some power. They can mess with your speed or how much you pay, but at the end of the day, you can usually just switch to another company. They're like a gatekeeper, but they don't own the whole city.
Okay, so what about the government? They regulate pretty much everything else. Surely they're the ones with the ultimate say.
Nope, not quite. A government can definitely block websites inside its own country, no doubt. But they can't just switch off a website that's running on a server halfway across the world. They just don't control that massive global network.
All right, last guess. It has to be the giants, right? Google, Facebook, Amazon. For a lot of us, they pretty much are the internet. They've got to be in charge.
And once again, that's a no. They are incredibly influential for sure, but they don't own the basic plumbing of the internet. They can't stop you from building your own website on your own terms. So to find the real answer, we need to follow the journey of a single click right from the very start.
So let's start with what you could call the internet's address book. How on earth does your computer find anything in a sea of billions of other devices?
It all starts with something we use constantly, a domain name. This is just that simple, easy-to-remember address, like youtube.com. It's designed for us, for humans.
But here's the thing, computers don't really do names, they do numbers. Every single thing connected to the internet, your laptop, your phone, the website itself, has a totally unique IP address. Honestly, you can just think of it like a phone number.
So you can see the problem, right? We have two different languages. We think in simple, memorable words, but the machines, the actual hardware of the internet, they need these long, specific number addresses to get anything done. So how do we bridge that gap?
Well, that's where this hero comes in, the Domain Name Server, or DNS for short. Think of it as the internet's giant phone book. Its entire job is to look up that friendly name you typed in and find the correct, machine-friendly IP address that goes with it. And this whole thing happens in literally the blink of an eye. You type the name, your computer asks a DNS server, hey, what's the number for this? The DNS gives it the number, and boom, your browser is now connecting to the right place. Okay, so now your computer has the right address, but how does the message physically get there? The answer, honestly, is kind of mind-blowing.
It's incredible, but it's true. The internet isn't some magical cloud. It's a real physical thing. A massive network of giant fiber optic cables running for thousands of miles along the bottom of our oceans, connecting whole continents together.
And it really doesn't matter how you're connecting. Your computer might be plugged in with a cable, your phone connects wirelessly to a cell tower, but that cell tower is physically wired into that same global web. We're all tapping into the same massive backbone.
So we have the address and we have the physical path to get there. But what's waiting for us at the end of the line? Where does a website actually live? It lives on a server. And all a server is really is another computer, a really powerful one that's turned on 24/7, always connected to the internet, just waiting for visitors like you. Its job is to store all the website's files and data and, well, serve them up whenever someone asks.
I mean, could you run a website from your own computer at home? Yeah, technically. But you'd have to leave it on all day, every day. It's just not practical. That's why we have data centers full of these servers that have insane processing power, are super secure, and are always running, just to make sure websites are always there when we need them.
All right, we've seen the address book, we've seen the physical wires, and we've seen where the websites live. So let's circle all the way back to that first big question.
After all that, who is really in control of this enormous, tangled, interconnected system? And this is the beautiful, kind of paradoxical answer. Nobody owns it, which means everybody owns it. The internet only works because millions of different people and companies all over the world have agreed to follow the same set of rules, the same technical language that lets all their different systems talk to each other.
And that right there is the secret sauce. The internet's greatest power is that there's no single person, company, or government in charge. It's decentralized. And that's what makes it so tough, so open, and so innovative. It's a system built and run by all of us.
Which really leaves us with one last thing to think about. If the internet belongs to everyone, that means it belongs to you and me. It's a shared resource for the entire planet. So the real question is, what's our role? What's our responsibility in making sure it stays an open and free place for everyone?